Hey everybody, and welcome back to the board meeting. Today we're doing another reviews and ratings episode where I go through all the games I've been playing in the past couple weeks with friends and family and even solo. Today I'm going to be talking about 7 different games and giving a short overview of what the game is, my personal thoughts on it, and finally my rating of this game. I'm going to try and go through these relatively quickly. We're going to go start with my least favorite and go on to my favorites throughout this video. So let's start with the very first game we're going to be talking about today, and that is Magic the Gathering Heroes of Dominaria board game. Now, this is a Magic the Gathering, the card game, board game. In this game, you are going to be moving around this board, collecting different types of resources, which are the mana, and you're going to then be spending that mana to do a couple different things. You're going to be placing out these links between different areas to collect resources faster. You're going to get more people out there. You're going to get these little monoliths out there that will let you get mana quicker and faster. And you're just going to be basically doing these things in this game. And it's a very, very simple game. It's a very fast game. You don't get that many turns in this game. And that's how I feel about this game in general, that it's just too fast and it's too simple. It's like an almost game. It's almost there for complexity's sake and it's almost there for time's sake, but it's almost too fast and almost too simple. It's going to get a 5.5 rating for me. It's just too much of a simple resource collecting, do things sort of game. It doesn't really give me that Magic the Gathering feel to it, and that's kind of a bummer for me. But yeah, just a 5.5 rating. I played it a couple times. I probably won't ever feel the need to play this game again. Let's go on to the next game. The next game is a solo-only game called Fishing Lessons. This is a button-shy, wallet-sized game, and I generally like the solo games for button-shy games. In this game, you are going to pick a fisher, and then you have a bunch of cards underneath that fisherman. The fisher is going to tell you what the objective of that particular fisher is for that game. And it's going to be like, you have to reveal 3 of this type of fish and 2 of these types of fish. And underneath are going to be the different cards. You're going to reveal those cards kind of every once in a while, and it's going to tell you what's on that card. So you're trying to just accomplish whatever that fisher's goal is, whether it's revealing 3 of these fish and 4 of these fish. As soon as you do that, you kind of win the game. There's different difficulties on it. But in order to do those things, you're going to be basically playing out these cards, and these cards are going to let you move and reveal cards that are sort of adjacent to the fisher, depending on what that it shows you. And you're kind of building this tableau in front of you, because then you play a card and then you take all the cards in that series of cards. This is a very simple, very fast game. I mean, it plays in about 5 minutes. I'm only giving this one a 6 rating. It is a fine little solo puzzle game, and I tend to like these solo puzzle games by Button Shy, but this one, it just feels like forgettable to me. And maybe it's because I hold Button Shy solo games in high regard, but this one, it's just there's other games in the Button Shy series that I'd much rather play that are more memorable than the Fishing Lessons. It's fine, but not memorable to me at all. Going to the next game is a game that's out on my shelf for a long time before I got it played. This is Naga Raja. This is a game by my favorite designer, Bruno Cathala. And in this game, you are going to be basically playing out cards from your hand, and these cards are going to let you roll so many of these dice. But the dice are these sticks. They're dice sticks rather than cubes. But you're going to be rolling, then after you both choose which cards you're going to play, that will let you choose which dice you're going to roll. You're going to roll these dice sticks, and then there's going to either be pips on them or these long little snake things, which are called Naga. You want to have the most pips by the end in order to get these tiles and putting these tiles on your own personal board. But after you've rolled the dice, you can spend other cards for their action on them by spending your Naga that are on the dice. So you're either going to roll pips or these Nagas. If you roll those Nagas, you spend them to play these cards, which are going to get you other actions, which are hopefully going to get you more pips, basically, and win you the tile. You're going to take the tile and put it on your own personal board. On your board, you have like this sort of cavern, and you're going to have all these unrevealed tiles on the ends of each of these cavern areas, and there's going to be different points amounts on them. If you ever connect back to the center of the board or the beginning of the board, you're going to reveal those tokens, and if ever you reach 25 points, the first person to do that wins the game. There's also some negative tiles in there, and if you reveal all of those, you're going to lose the game. And so there's those things that are going on. This felt like a very average game to me, and which is kind of disappointing. It's going to get a 6.5 rating from me. So it was fine, it was decent, but since it's a Bruno Cathala game, I was like thinking I was going to like it a lot more than I did, and there's a lot of people who really like this game. So I just thought it was an okay game, and I think it's because those stick dice. I didn't really like the stick dice for some reason. They don't feel nice when you're rolling them rather than those cubes. So yeah, 6.5 for Naga Raja. Let's go on to the next game. The next game is going to be a small little card game. This is Sweetlandia. In this game, you are going to get a hand of cards. The cards are going to be numbered on them, like I think 1 through like 35 or whatever they are. Everybody is going to play one of their cards at the same time. Where my dog goes over there. Everybody's going to play one of these cards at the same time. Sorry, I had to go let the dog out. But anyways, where was I? Okay, everybody's going to reveal one of these cards with the numbers on them at the same time. Whoever's got the highest number is going to be able to draft first. You're going to be drafting these cards that are in front of everybody. And whoever's got the highest, like I said, gets to go first. Second highest goes to go pick second, third highest, and so on and so on. And so you're just picking these cards and putting them in front of you. They're going to be worth so many different points. After everybody's picked one, you put some more cards out there, and then everybody reveals a card again, and you get to pick cards again, draft in that order. And at the end, you're going to score points for the cards that are in front of you. You're also going to have kind of like a secret objective, and then there's going to be public objectives that you're going to try and finish. You score after you've played so many of these cards. You're going to score however many points you have. Then you're going to shuffle them all up, and you're going to do it again 3 times. Whoever's got the most points after 3 rounds wins the game. This is going to get a 7 rating from me. I enjoyed this game. It is like the game For Sale, if you've ever played For Sale. This is a more complex, sort of beefier version of For Sale. But the problem is, I like For Sale more than that because of the simplicity of For Sale. This is just For Sale, just a little bit more complex, but I like this game, but I'm just going to pick For Sale over this one every time. But it's still a good, solid game for sure. Don't get me wrong on that one. So that was Sweetlandia, gets the 7. Let's go on to the next game. The next game is another solo-only game, again by Scott Alms, and this is going to be Wreckland Run, which is the 3rd game in their solo hero series, I think it's called. The last game was Warp's Edge that came out in this series. In this game, it's going to be set in the post-apocalyptic theme. It's got basically Mad Max, the board game, where you have your own personal car in front of you, and you're trying to kit that car out and get like better upgraded weapons to put on there, and then you're going to be fighting off these forces that are these different cars that are coming out and attacking you, trying to blow you up. There's basically 2 phases in this game. The first phase is you're rolling dice and using those dice to spend to buy new parts for your car, to get better cars, or even to heal yourself up from previous rounds. After you've done that, all these bad guys are going to come out, and they're going to basically surround your car, and they're going to be attacking you. You're going to be rolling these dice, and there's red dice and white dice. Red dice go on the bad cars, and they're going to trigger those cars, and those cars are going to attack you and attack those parts. If they can't attack the parts, they're going to attack the core. If ever you lose all your health in the core, then the game's over. You lose. And you're basically then triggering your cards that you've put out on your spot with this dice worker placement action sort of system, and just attacking the opponents, trying to whittle their forces down, because there's a bunch of cars out there. And after that, you're going to go back, get more parts for your cars, then you're going to attack the bad guys again, get more parts, and then for the 3rd time, you're going to attack the bad guys, but there's going to be like a big bad boss that's going to be with these bad forces that is attacking you. That's going to be pretty powerful. This game you can see elements from Warp's Edge into this game, especially having this regular ship, and then you're kitting out that ship to become more powerful. In Warp's Edge, it was a bag building system. This, you're just adding parts, getting more powerful, but it's a dice worker placement game. This one, you see the elements of Warp's Edge in that, but you also see elements of a different game in Under Falling Skies. I don't like this one nearly as much as I like Under Falling Skies. I like it about the same amount as I like Warp's Edge. The theme, though, is what I really like in this game. I mean, Mad Max, the board game, I'm in on that one. The only issue I had with this game was that sometimes the game ran a little bit long, or it could feel like a little bit monotonous, where like I knew what the outcome was going to be by the end. It's just I had to go through the motions to finally finish things off, whether I was going to get killed or beat the big bad boss at the end. I enjoyed it. It's going to get a 7.5 rating from me. Yeah, the only downfall was maybe it felt a little bit longer than what it should have. But yeah, it's still a good game. Wreckland Run, 7.5 rating. Let's go on to the next game. The next game is a two-player only game. It's a two-player version of an older game, a classic game at this point. This is Splendor Duel, the two-player version of Splendor. Splendor is a very huge, popular, successful game at this time. I would say it's a classic. But in this one, like I said, it's a two-player only game, and there's going to be a grid of your gems that you're collecting rather than just an open source of collecting gems like in the original. And in this one, you have to draft your gems on the grid in order. Like you have to draft all the ones that are straight, or you go diagonal. You have to pick ones that are adjacent to each other, basically, in a line. And then you're going to be spending those gems to buy cards, and you're trying to get a certain amount of points in this one. There's a couple different ways you can win this one. Unlike Splendor, this one's a little bit more varied, a little bit more complex, a lot more cutthroat, I would say. I enjoyed this one more in every aspect than the original Splendor. This is going to get an 8 rating from me, and if I want to play Splendor, I'm going to choose Splendor Duel if I possibly can every time now. I've shown quite a few people this game now, and every one of them has liked it as well. So Splendor Duel gets that 8 rating. Let's go on to the final game today, and the final game is actually not even a game, it's an expansion to a game that I like. This is QE Commodities. The expansion adds a couple different things, but if you don't know what QE is this silent auction bidding game where you are going to be bidding on these little basically point cards, and if you have the highest bid, you win those points. And you can spend whatever you want. But whoever spends the most at the end of the game is automatically just loses. So you kind of do have to be cautious of what you're spending, but you do want to win these tiles. But you can game the system sort of where, I've had a couple games kind of go awry with QE. This one kind of fixes that. In QE Commodities, it adds commodities which are going to be worth quite a bit of points. Sometimes the commodities are actually worth more than what you're bidding on. Anyways, whoever has the second most highest bid is going to win these commodities. And like I said, they're very valuable. So a lot of times you're trying to be the second highest. You're not trying to be the highest. You're trying to be the second highest. So it adds a whole new dimension. Also, the person who's auctioning off these actually gets to subtract whatever the second place guy's bid is. So, you spent $90,000 in one second place, the auctioneer gets to subtract $90,000 from the total that they have spent in this game. And it just adds a whole new dimension to this game. I would say this is one of those expansions that you need almost. If you like QE, 100% get this. It's going to get a 9 rating from me. I don't say that about very many expansions, but I don't think I will ever play QE regular again. I think Commodities just adds a whole new level to this game and fixes some issues that I had with it, and it just makes it just a better game experience overall. So yeah, 9 rating for QE Commodities. I'd definitely probably put it in my essential expansions list now. That's for sure. That is the last game we're going to be talking about today. So make sure to comment down below some of your thoughts on some of these games, whether you've played them, whether you haven't. If you agree or disagree with some of my thoughts on some of these games, that's perfectly fine. We're all different. It doesn't really matter too much. But either way, if you did enjoy this video, make sure to like and subscribe to see more weekly content from me, Shane, at the board meeting in the future. Hope you all have an amazing day. Take care.